Hey class, I just wanted to do a quick little follow-up video from the last one. So this week is all about the pen tool, and we're going to be tracing over this with the pen tool and then filling it with color. So I wanted, and you can read here, it says, you're going to be using the pen tool. So this means in Illustrator you need to create closed shapes, and let me show you quickly what that means. A closed shape is something like this. If you can, I'm not sure if you can, let me zoom in a little bit. This is a closed shape. You can see that all the points are, there's not any open sides, because if you have any openings when you're using the pen tool, you can't fill it with color. So see here, I can fill it with color. And obviously when you're just drawing a line, you're not going to be using the pen tool and you're not going to be filling it. But all of these shapes are filled with color. So whenever I click someplace, I can see the colors here. So this is a requirement. So there's a couple other tools that students tend to use that you can't use for this exercise, and one of them is called the Live Paint tool. So the Live Paint tool, and let me show you what it does. It allows you to use color without filling the shape. So I can just do this, or I can do something like, let's see, let me find something here. See how this is a bunch of, it's just a few points, and if you look up here, it's got a red arrow through it. You cannot use the Live Paint, and it's easy to tell because the shapes aren't closed. So if I were to look at all of this, and see, look at this, and this is what it looks like in the layers too. See this path? I'm going to turn it off so you can see what it looks like. It's highlighted right here. It's off and it's on. You can't really see it because it's kind of hard to see. So again, here too, this is not a closed path. So there's no way you could fill that with color. So if I see a bunch of layers that look like a bunch of paths that aren't closed, you will be asked to resubmit it. So be sure not to do this, because the whole, and once you learn Illustrator, you can use Live Paint and all that stuff, but it really doesn't show you how to use the pen tool. It really just allows you to make a bunch of lines with either, the pencil tool or the one of the paint brushes. And you don't really learn how to use the Bezier curves with, as in the pen tool. So be sure to really pay attention to that. And again, this is one that did it correctly. See this right here? This is, I'm going to turn it off. This is a closed shape, and I can look up here and see the color right here. Whenever it's the pen tool, whenever you click on something, you can't see the color. You're going to get a line through it. So even if it doesn't say Live Paint, I know that it's being used, and you'll be asked to resubmit it. So really need to make the closed shapes. And the pen tool, the Live Paint is over here, so it's really easy to see if you're using it. So just please don't, because you just don't learn how to use the pen tool. And why do you use the pen tool? You want to learn how to use the pen tool is every application that has the pen tool, it operates the same. And in Photoshop, you're going to be making, you're going to be doing Photoshop too. There's a pen tool that's used to make clipping masks. So there's a lot of different applications for the pen tool. For example, so let's say we're in the pen tool here, and if I try to, you can see the color, if I try to make a shape that's not, excuse me, that's not filled, so it's going to fill with pink automatically, but it won't let me, excuse me, it won't let me leave. You can't leave an open shape. I have to go up here and close it. So I hope that makes sense. These need to be closed shapes. I hope that kind of clears it up. So again, need to use the pen tool and need to not use any of the Live Paint or anything like that. It's really easy to see with the with your files, and don't just don't waste your time and start with it, because it's you're going to be asked to resubmit as the directions say pen tool, and this is pretty much what this assignment's about. So again, the best way to approach this is, and this is what most students do, is you just outline. So you can see here what he did. He outlined in a couple different parts. So he outlined the main body with the pen tool, and then he did the head separately. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. So anyway, I hope this clears it up. I wanted to show you just a couple I mean, this is student work, but you know, she's a beginner in Illustrator, never used Illustrator before, but look at all her layers and look at how they're organized. And again, she didn't know anything about the pen tool. This is the first time she used it, but she spent a really good amount of time on it, and that's why it looks so good. You know, she's got her background, you know, got creative. She's got some different shades of color, and the eyes are, you know, really came out good. So again, but this probably took her, I think she said about 10 hours. And you know, I know that some of you don't have time for that, and no one's, you know, no one of course forces you, but it's a college class, and if you would like to create a portfolio piece and demonstrate competency in the pen tool and Illustrator, it kind of, you know, if you want to really, you know, create a portfolio piece, it does take quite a bit of time. So, and again, I know not all of you are looking for that, but I just wanted to kind of just show you some other examples that, you know, here's another one too. I mean, she didn't spend as much time as the other person, but she spent a good amount of time here, and even he did too. Even, you know, his is not as complicated as ornate, and you can see the organization of the layers. You know, it's not, but this is still, you know, an A, you know, an A grade. So again, but I mean, some students get frustrated because they don't really know how much time, but see all the layers and see, I mean, and this is why that, you know, his is really a good grade, but it's not really a portfolio piece, but these two really are. And again, just look at the layers and how much work they spent. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. I'm on Google Hangouts all the time. Be sure to follow the directions. I hate to see people, you know, it happens every term, get into trouble using these auto trace tools and live paint, and yeah, so just make sure that that's not being used, and used all closed shapes. And again, you cannot fill a shape that's not closed. And even if I keep clicking around in here, once there's an open shape, the color won't light up. It's really easy to see. Okay, so anyway, have a great day, you guys.